How is it going, everyone? And who could have seen this one coming? It seems like Highguard's time is coming to a close here very shortly. If it's not going to be shutting down, I don't think this is going to be the experience that the team, nor Jeff Keighley, thought it was going to be, given how much the player base has shrunk over the last few weeks since the game has been out. And I know that there's been a lot of discussion, there's been a lot of talk about, oh, the gamers, it's the fault of the players, they set this game up to fail. Look, the reality of this is that this game peaked at 97,249 players 22 days ago. Right now, it is down to 1,000 players. 1,000 players concurrently. It has lost 98% of its player base, whatever you want to say, 98, 97% of its player base. It's lost a significant amount of its players. 45% positive reception on Steam. It is a disaster situation, and there's so many layers that we can uncover about this, and you guys already know what the deal is, and so many people, the lead up to this game, I saw the gamers, it's their fault, you just gotta wait and see. The wait and see goblins out there, and the wait and see goblins are there for a lot of games, and I'm not here to file every game under the same umbrella, but there were wait-and-see goblins with Concord, there were wait-and-see goblins with Highguard as well, and there's gonna be wait-and-see goblins with Fair Game, there's gonna be wait-and-see goblins with Horizon Hunters and Gatherers. These wait-and-see goblins I always see prior to a game coming out. You guys gotta wait and see. You can't make an opinion on the game just now. You only saw footage, which, by the way, let me reiterate, gaming promotional videos is meant to promote a video game and for the opportunity to let the viewer formulate an opinion about the game based on said promotional content. If said promotional content was ineffective, so much so that it led to the consumer and the customer having a negative opinion about the game right off the rip, whose fault is that? That's the fault of the developers for creating the game as they did. That's the fault of Jeff Keighley for positioning the game the way he did. Now, credit to Jeff Keighley. I really do believe what happened was maybe he played this game beforehand and he thought that the game was quality and it was going to be a breakout title, and he wanted to position the game at a spot. What I kind of think happened is that at the Video Game Awards, the concluding game was going to be something bigger. I think it was going to be something bigger, and something happened where that game was pulled, and then they had to scramble to put a game in that closing slot. And with Highguard, you could at least be like, hey, it's a free title, it's gonna come out soon. Jeff Keighley may have thought highly of it. I don't know. I'm just speculating on that part. I'm trying to come to an understanding on why that was done, because I know Jeff Keighley is not stupid. I know people making these decisions, they can't be that dumb where they didn't see some sort of vitriol as a potential for that game being positioned the way it did. However, that vitriol did spiral, and it almost created this what is going on with this game kind of allure for it, where a lot of people did want to check it out right away. I knew, yes, there might be this interest right off the bat of people wanting to check it out. It is going to fade so quickly, and I knew with Highguard it was going to be exponentially more so because people were checking this game out as a bit of a meme, and yes, there was a lot of money being spent on streamers playing the game, which I have no problem with. If you want to spend money, if you think that's a good promotional campaign, by all means. However, I think in the context of Highguard, because of how the game was marketed and how the game's perception was, I don't care if the reality, if this wasn't their intention, but the perception was that this was a cash grab type of hero shooter that nobody wanted with this horrendous art style, and then when you have a lot of streamers playing the game, the optics just don't work great for the game. Yes, you'll have that influx of people checking the game out, almost to meme on it, but how often have you seen a game fall off this quickly? Halo Infinite peaked at like north of 200,000 players on Steam, and that fell off pretty quickly. It wasn't this quickly. How many games, how many live service multiplayer games can you look at? And you can make the argument, hey, they got the boost off the bat and the promotion did its job. And I think that would be a very foolish way to view this, where the promotion did its job and people checked it out. I really think in this instance, people checked it out almost to meme on it. And you can say that's effed up, you can say that's messed up, But I'm just here to tell you guys how I perceive these numbers, and with Highguard, I think it is almost an interesting way of assessing it. I wouldn't look at how Jeff Keighley handled the game now and be like, without Jeff Keighley, without the Video Game Awards, this game would have failed right off the bat. Yeah, maybe it would have, but I wouldn't give credit to the promotion of this game and be like, wow, the promotional campaign for this game actually worked, because while it may have died now, initially they got 97,000 people to check it out. But what were those people going into this game to check it out for? They were going into this game almost with the idea of, I want to check it out for the memes, and is that a good thing? Maybe you can make the argument of, hey, they're playing your game, that's a W, but I really wouldn't take that as a good thing. I really wouldn't, just because people are checking out the game and they inherently have this idea of, oh, we're gonna do the collective dogpile on the game, and maybe that was deserved and people crapping on the game, you know, and that's not my decision to make. The studio, developers, they can be mad about, oh, well, you guys wanted to crap on this game before it even came out. Guess what? You promoted the game in a certain way, you showed people a trailer, and that's how they perceived it. That's not wrong on the consumer to see a promotional video and make a decision on their interest level of a game. That's not wrong. That's what is supposed to be effective promotion, or rather ineffective promotion in this game. They're allowed to make their decision. If the style of the game, if an art style does not vibe with them, guess what? They're allowed to make that decision, and guess what? You have to live with it. That's not the consumer's fault that they hate your art style. That's not the consumer's fault that they hate the style of game that you decided to go with. That's not the consumer's fault that you decided to position a game in a way that was inherently going to leave a lot of people disappointed. How is that the customer's fault? It seems like a lot of these things would be fairly predictable. However, maybe it wouldn't have been predictable 5 years ago or however many years ago when Highguard got greenlit. That is the reality of a lot of the games with the art styles and the stylizations that you're seeing right now. Remember that a lot of these live service games, they got greenlit 3, 4, 5 years ago, where the world was in a different place in 2021, 2022, and it seemed like there was a haven to make as much money as humanly possible, and oh, were they salivating, were investors salivating at that idea of live service microtransactions where we can make money on these games perpetually, forever and ever, or for years and years. That's such a higher ceiling than that little old Ghost of Tsushima. That Ghost of Tsushima, that's nothing. That Horizon Forbidden West, that's nothing compared to Highguard, compared to Horizon Hunters and Gathering. That's nothing compared to Concord of what they envisioned those games to be. Years and years of microtransactions, years and years of you spending your money on these games. Oh man, I love the character design of that Concord. I'll check out the Amazon Prime series. I'll buy this skin. I'll give them $50 here. I'll give them $30 here for this battle pass, this season pass, and they were hoping that you were going to do for years and years. And do not get it twisted. With PlayStation, every single one of their live service games, that is the hope. And I get it, it's a business, but that's why inherently, you should be a little fearful of supporting a game like Horizon Hunters and Gathering, because if one of PlayStation's games is successful, then that's gonna open the pathway. We got one W, we can get more and more. Let's get Bluepoint back on a live service game. Let's get Ben's Studio back on a live service game and waste years of their time. And you can make the argument, hey, Helldivers 2 was a gigantic success, but Helldivers 2 absolutely had the essence of Arrowhead alive, and not all live service games are created equally. The model can work, but the model is not able to work with 30, 40, 50 games coming out in the market, because the ultimate quantity that a live service game asks for is your time. And generally speaking, most people are already invested into 1 or 2 live service games. Whether you're playing Final Fantasy XIV, whether you're playing Orc Raiders, whether you're playing Call of Duty, Battlefield, etc., etc. How many live service games can one person juggle? Not as many as that are coming out into the market that seemingly week over weekend get canceled really quickly or die off really quickly. It's an issue of time, and there's not enough time to go around for these games. And Highguard's issue, I think, is something that we can learn a lot from. I think you can learn a lot from Highguard. I think you can learn a lot from Concord. I think you can learn a lot from the reception of Horizon Hunters and Gathering right now. But we are gonna have to go through this period of so many of these games coming out, either coming out or getting canceled. You know, the Ben Studio game never came out. The Bluepoint live service game never came out. The Concord was shut down. Fair game, bro, that game should be shut down, canceled. Haven Studios should probably be shut down while you're ahead of the game. Why continue development of a game that is probably dead on arrival as it is? There's no hope for that game. And you know what? Seeing some of the other live service games, I think Marathon, at least initially, is going to have some interest. Will it be dead in 3 weeks like Highguard? Maybe, but I think Marathon initially is going to do better than people expect. I might be wrong on that one. I don't know. It seems like I'm a little bit more positive on that game. You want to know what game I actually think looks fairly decent? I think 4 Loop looks okay. What I've seen of 4 Loop, another PlayStation live service title, I think that game looks okay. I'm not here to completely put every live service game under an umbrella, but it's obvious to see which ones are the ones that feel like cash grabs or are gonna have the perception of being a cash grab. And when you have titles like Horizon Hunters and Gathering, that's a game that literally is going to shift Guerrilla's focus away from the mainline Horizon trilogy, which has now been revealed for 11 years, and we're probably not going to get a conclusion for another 4 to 5 years, and it's because of that live service game. That's when I get infuriated. When a Bend Studios iced for 5 years, and Days Gone ends on a setup to a sequel, and Days Gone 2 doesn't happen, and they're benched to do a live service game, yeah, I'm gonna get infuriated. When Blue Point Games drops SOTC remake and Demon Souls remake, and what do you have them do after that? A God of War live service game? Yeah, that's gonna infuriate me. And when I see events like the Video Game Awards that could have just been structured differently. You could have ended on Control Resident. You could have ended on the back-to-back Tomb Raider announcements, but you end on live service nonsense that would have easily been able to be revealed some point in the middle of the show. It's just a positioning issue. It's things that I feel like people as smart as Jeff Keighley and the people involved in the promotion of these games should know more than a schmuck like me. They are experienced. They should know about things like this. But nonetheless, Highguard is probably on the way out, and the Highguard website, by the way, which is the reason why I was making this video in the first place, site unavailable. The site is currently unavailable. Please contact support@code32.com for assistance. And yes, the player base is down to 1,000 players, and I'm sorry, that's not going to be a viable game from a long-term standpoint. Y'all said you just need a core group of players that likes the game and are invested into it. Well, how's that going to turn out for you with 1,000 concurrent players? Obviously more on consoles, but it's going to be dead here very shortly. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.